Hey, yo, it's Talib Kweli, and you're watching The Departure Lounge right now.
Since way back, we gotta say that that's the greatest lesson, slave to our possession. The devil, favorite weapon, fight to the death, only the greatest left in this world.
Yeah, I got a call from the booking agency, and you know, they were like, you know, you want to do a song with Lauryn? I got a call from the booking agency. They was like, you want to do a show with Lauryn? I was like, yeah, why not? You know? The first time I met Lauryn, neither one of us were famous. I was about 17 years old. I met her through my friend John Forte, and I met her when they were working on the Fugees album. Right now is the best time in my career because it's like the Wild Wild West. I don't know what the rules are, and I don't know what's gonna happen next. But it's good to go. It's challenging to go out there and have to find the money, and it's good to be your own boss. You know, it's a very liberating feeling. K.R.I.T Jr. was somebody I've seen perform a bunch of times, and I was a fan of his. And they asked me, he had a song, Bright Lights, Big City. They did a remix for a mixtape that he was doing. They asked me to do a verse on it, and I used it as an opportunity to open the doors to, you know, to ask to be on my project. Actually, I went to a bar, and I met his manager, Krishna, at a bar. We had a couple of drinks together. He's like, yeah, I managed K.R.I.T Jr. I was like, word? So that's how that happened. So, you know, a couple years later, we're doing records together. Push Through was an old song. It was recorded in 2011. The beat is by S1 from Dallas, Texas. Me and Curren was in the studio, vibing back and forth. Curren laid his verse. Kendrick was somebody who I knew through J-Rock in Los Angeles back in the day, and this was before Kendrick had a deal that we did this record. He came to the studio. We listened to a bunch of beats. I didn't play him Currency's verse. I just played him beats that I wanted to use for my album. He picked the same beat as Currency. So once he picked that beat, I said, well, you know, Currency's on that. Played him Currency's verse. He liked it. He jumped on it, and he did a phenomenal job on that record. Yeah, I think cultural appropriation is deeper than not being aware of context. It's not being aware of your privilege. It's not being aware of just history in general, just not being informed in general. Cultural appropriation is you know, that's something totally different. But I mean, I think that, you know, I think the people don't often look beneath the surface of things. And the only way that you get to the root of a problem is to look beneath the surface. As an artist or just as anybody in the society, if you don't have your own thing, you're doing it wrong at this point. You know, the world is about niche now. It's not about mass marketing. And if you don't have control, especially as an artist, if you don't have control over your creative output, you're losing out. So you could do partnerships and deals with whoever you want, but you have to have your own. And so Javotti was a way for me to have my own, and for a way for me to extend my business model to other artists. You know what I'm saying? There's other artists who make good music but don't have the same marketing or commercial opportunities that I've had in my career. And I know ways to navigate the system without those opportunities now. I think this generation of artists does what they know and does what they can. And that's all you can expect from anybody. You know, I think Jay-Z is an artist who has represented a very powerful sort of capitalist mentality in the way that he approaches his music, but I think he's also added the art and the creativity, and he's found a very, very delicate balance to whereas he's respected by just artists for how pure his art is. You know, and I think he's leveraged his popularity and his fame to do what he can about issues that he knows, and I think all artists do that. I think from anybody from a Drake to a Nicki Minaj to a Kanye, they all do what they can. With that said, we don't have the examples in this generation of the Bob Marleys and the people like that who are really, really, really making music that spoke directly to the struggle, that are famous on that level, the Fela Kutis, the James Browns, But shit, I mean, even James Brown, put the conch back in his head when it wasn't popular no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to understand that our artists are allowed to, and even encouraged to have contradictions because they're human. The artists are a reflection of who we are. So if Jay-Z is the most popular artist, we have to look inside ourselves and see why, because we're the ones who made him that way. Oh, I think Kanye is a visionary and a futurist and somebody who people pay attention to, but they pay attention to the wrong things. I think Kanye is somebody who is just, a legend of our time. I think he's a genius. I think just because he says he's a genius and knows he is doesn't make him any less of a genius. I love Kanye West. I think he's a great artist that we're blessed to have in our lifetime. They would have advice for me. Younger artists who get popular. It's hard for me to get popular on YouTube because I've been through the major label system. So YouTube is the new radio. That's where people discover music at. So I would ask them for some advice.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time, and that was great.
No doubt. Thank you.